everyone. My name is Claudia, and I'm part of the team here at Admiral. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to see some familiar faces on the call and also some new names today as well. As we go along, feel free to interact, adding comments and questions to the chat. Before we dive in, we do want to mention that this presentation includes forward-looking statements about our product roadmap and future plans. These statements are based on current expectations and involve risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ. We do not guarantee these outcomes and are not obligated to update any forward-looking statements. The information in this presentation is provided only as of this date of this webinar and is subject to change. But okay, let's jump in. Our focus is on helping operators be more productive. Today, we'll highlight how some of our recent updates have helped operators save time, money, and resources, and we'll share our product focus for the next few weeks, months, and our plans for 2026. And then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. To get us started, Candace is going to walk us through some of the developments from this year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Candace, Product Manager and Developer here at Admiral. Today, I'm excited to share one of my favorite real-world examples of how the Admiral API and AI can work together to deliver real impact. One of our customers, Space Vision, recently integrated Admiral's API data into their own AI assistant to perform automated router health checks. By leveraging these insights, they were able to proactively detect issues, streamline troubleshooting, and dramatically reduce the amount of time their team spent on support while improving the overall customer experience. And it's a great example of how automation and intelligence can come together to make network operations not only more efficient, but also more customer-friendly. To learn more about this use case, please visit our blog. Before we dive into everything that's coming up in 2026, let's take a moment to look back at some of the highlights and major updates we rolled out in 2025. It's been an exciting year of growth, innovation, and listening to your feedback to make Admiral even better. From performance improvements to brand new modules, we focused on making Admiral faster, smarter, and easier to use across every part of your workflow. Let's quickly revisit a few of the standout updates that helped shape Admiral over the year. Admiral Endpoints is our remote monitoring tool for Unix-based devices, fully integrated right inside the Admiral dashboard. It's something we originally built to meet our own internal needs, and since rolling it out, it's helped us reduce outages across our global Admiral services by 79%. And we've achieved this through proactive monitoring and early detection. And we think you could have the same or similar results with your implementation. While endpoints made a huge impact on reliability, we didn't stop there. A big part of 2025 was focused on making the Admiral dashboard feel even more intuitive and user-friendly, helping operators work smarter, not harder. We put a lot of attention into the user interface and overall workflow experience. From a smoother onboarding process to improved router health views, and even a visual representation of hardware ports, every detail was designed to make daily operations faster and more efficient. We also rolled out improvements like enhanced backup automation, the ability to test connections directly, and custom ping locations for more flexible monitoring. And to make sure users could get help and learn on their own terms, we expanded our documentation library, added video tutorials, and introduced a new support ticketing system, all aimed at making Admiral easier to learn and use. Now that we've covered the improvements to the dashboard experience, let's talk about another new feature we introduced: automated speed tests and reporting. This premium module was built to help operators not only measure performance across their networks, but also to automate compliance reporting for programs like RDOF and BEAD here in the US. Even if you're not part of those grant programs, it's an incredibly useful tool for any operator who wants clear visibility into network performance and an easy way to validate service quality for customers. In short, it's about taking the guesswork out of speed testing and putting actionable data right at your fingertips. All these updates have really laid a strong foundation for what's coming next. The improvements we made in 2025 weren't just about fixing pain points. They were about setting the stage for the next evolution of Admiral. And so with that, Mark will give us a look ahead at what's next on the horizon.
Awesome. Thanks, Candace. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Mark, and I'm really excited to jump in and give you a sneak peek at what's coming next. Over the next month or so, we'll be rolling out some powerful new tools, smarter automations, and fresh features, all designed to make your network operations even more seamless and efficient. These updates not only make life easier, but also they really set the tone for where Admiral is headed next. So let's take a look. First up, let's talk about Admiral Multi-Vendor, which you see in your dashboard under Endpoints. So right now, it supports Linux, remote management and monitoring, and Ubiquiti Wave LR devices. And that's just a start. It gives you visibility and control beyond just your MikroTiks. So we're not going to stop there. Coming soon, we'll be expanding support to include Dell PowerEdge servers, network switches, and also legacy Cisco devices running iOS-style operating systems. And it's all part of our goal to make Admiral your central command platform for managing and monitoring everything in your network, no matter which vendor it is. We'll talk more about that in the upcoming slides for 2026 as well. Have you ever wondered if all of your MikroTiks are really covered, protected, and backed up inside your Admiral account? We're building a new tool internally codenamed the Network Spider, designed to automatically scan for nearby devices connected to your Admiral-powered MikroTiks and identify any of them that are not yet in your dashboard. This feature will make it incredibly easy to spot unmonitored devices and then add them with just a few clicks. Then after that, we're going to enhance your network topology view with richer details about the MikroTiks, endpoints, and neighboring devices. We're leaning towards changing the name to Network Hydra since spiders aren't very nautical, but let us know what you think would be the best name or give us suggestions in the comments. As you can see, we've got some powerful new tools and systems under construction below decks. And as we look ahead, here's a first look at the in-development features that will be setting sail towards the end of this year. Many of you already love Fleet Commander. It's a powerful way to run commands in bulk across your entire fleet of MikroTiks in just one step. But we've also heard your frustrations loud and clear. Many of you have told us that you want to deploy full scripts, not just commands, and that those pesky special characters like quotes and slashes can really cause headaches using the Fleet Commander tool. So we're building Script Commander, a new tool that lets you upload complete working scripts and then deploy them instantly across your MikroTiks, just like Fleet Commander, but with support for those special characters. And while that's in the works, and speaking of pesky, our team is also hard at work behind the scenes, making sure that Admiral stays fully in sync with all the latest RouterOS 7 Wi-Fi changes. We're optimizing detection and algorithms to make Wi-Fi monitoring faster, more accurate, and more reliable than ever. So we've covered a lot of ground, from what's live today to what's currently in development, and everything we've talked about shares one common goal: making Admiral smarter, faster, and easier for operators everywhere. But as exciting as this year has been, we're even more excited about what's coming next. 2026 is shaping up to be a huge year for Admiral, one where we take everything we've learned, all the feedback we've heard from you, and turn it into our most ambitious roadmap yet. So let's look ahead and talk about what's on the horizon for Admiral in 2026. Sentinel is our code name for a powerful new system that ingests and analyzes syslogs from your Admiral connected MikroTiks and endpoints. By bringing all of that data into one place, Sentinel will provide a centralized view of your network activity, helping Admiral detect issues faster and proactively alert you to events that might otherwise slip through the cracks. And for those who choose to opt in to AI-powered analysis, Sentinel will take it a step further using pattern recognition and insights to suggest ways to optimize, harden, and streamline your network configurations. It'll be like enhancing your company with a dedicated network engineer who never sleeps to look over your network and advise on best practices. Some of our customers tell us that they use our topology and OSPF mappers every single day to validate that traffic is flowing exactly where it should, and we love hearing that. So to make these tools even more powerful, we'll be rolling out a series of topology enhancements and routing intelligence upgrades. You'll soon see map overlays integrated with Google Maps, giving you a clearer visual of your network in a real-world geography. We'll also be improving OSPF analysis to automatically detect more potential misconfigurations and suggest optimizations. Plus, we're adding BGP health checks to help ensure that your peers and neighbors are stable and operational. In short, we're turning our topology view into a smarter, more interactive network command center. Next up, we're bringing business intelligence modules and AI-driven analysis directly into the Admiral dashboard. Imagine being able to instantly see where network performance is lagging or which devices have chronically weak signal strength or unusual behavior. With our new tools, Admiral will help you troubleshoot bad networks, identify lowest talkers, and even use AI-enhanced telemetry to suggest capacity upgrades before performance becomes an issue. How about receiving automated weekly reports highlighting the trends, potential misconfigurations, and optimization opportunities, turning Admiral into your 24/7 network analyst and advisor? As we continue improving and expanding on the Admiral dashboard, we're also revisiting some of the core features that haven't had as much attention lately, and we'll be giving them the upgrades they deserve. For example, we'll be enhancing our API implementation to unlock more functionality and integration opportunities, which will make it easier to connect Admiral to other tools and other systems. We're going to enhance the notifications engine to give it a major boost that'll allow for custom alerting so that you can decide exactly what matters most to your operational team, including tuning and suppressing alerts. We'll be refining speed test automation, reporting, and alerting, building on all the feedback we've received to make the compliance and capacity testing even easier. And finally, we're expanding multi-vendor support. We're going to add new service checks, database health monitoring, and even coverage for industrial and IoT devices like Allen Bradley controllers and other network sensors. All of this will help ensure Admiral continues to evolve towards your single pane of glass for network intelligence, monitoring, and automation. At Admiral, we've spent decades operating MikroTik networks at scale, and we know that hands-on, real-world experience is what truly builds confidence and skills. So starting this December, we're launching Admiral Academy, a training initiative designed to help our customers master network design and operations through real-world use cases, guided labs, and live expert sessions. Our first course will be MikroTik VXLAN with dynamic routing, and that'll be a 6-week expert-level program that teaches not just how to configure equipment, but how to think like a network architect. You'll learn the what, the why, and the how behind each step, from subnet design and OSPF BFD failover to VXLAN and deployment, troubleshooting tools, and firewall analytics. Coming later in May, we're introducing our next course, SD-WAN implementation. Imagine failover aggregation and load balancing of several Starlink connections to get reliable, resilient, and scalable connectivity out in the boonies where you otherwise wouldn't have access. Candace, back to you.
We are excited for offering these training courses. The sign up is available now for webinar participants. I dropped the link in the chat, and we're offering an early sign up discount until November 18th. Seats will be limited to ensure we have good lab performance. Registration will end when the seats are filled. And this won't be open to general signups until next week, so you'll want to reserve your spot today. And here is Claudia back to wrap up our webinar.
All right, thank you, Candace. Yeah, so like I said, we have time now for Q&A. And one thing, we had Tyler in the chat. Mark, maybe if you could help explain again what the network spider is, which is the working name now, so he can help us to determine what name we like the best. So right, and while we're talking about this, if you do have other questions, please add them to the chat so that we can go ahead and get those answered for you. But first things first. So Mark, explain the spider. What does it do? I said it basically would ping a tick that's on your network to find out if there's other ticks nearby that are not yet in the dashboard. That's my layman understanding, but is that
You're
right?
pretty close. You're pretty close. So the problem space that we hear from a lot of our existing and potential customers is that, I don't have an exact count of my microtics. I built the network, I'm operating it, but I've kind of lost track of things. Maybe I was doing stuff in spreadsheets and now Admiral can give me a central dashboard, but now I don't know how much this is going to cost me because I don't know how many I have. And I want to be sure that I've got them all so I feel protected and none of them are missing from the platform. So the idea behind Network Spider is to cover that use case and say, we can detect every microtik that's adjacent to other microtiks on your network and make sure they're all covered. And so the idea here is that there's going to be an enhanced UI on the MikroTik import as well as in a new neighbors section under extras. And both of those places are going to let you look at what neighbors are adjacent to MikroTiks and whether they already exist in the Admiral platform or not. And then if they don't, a quick and easy UI to add them so that they will be protected and covered and monitored by the system.
So Tyler was asking, is that like Roman L2, L3? Is that
So yeah, so there will be a little bit of detection that
a
uses a
layer
couple of
two?
different functionalities to include the IP neighbors section as well as the ARP table, as well as, kind of investigating what's nearby and what we can talk to.
Okay, great. And so a few of the names that we had thought maybe Spider, Hydra, Kraken. Those are more nautical type of names. So let us know what you think. Anthony had asked, would Spider detect and be able to automate their addition? If I have 1,000 ticks that need input, the process is a full employee.
Yeah, so if you're not already a customer and haven't onboarded your MikroTiks, there are existing processes where we can either take a CSV or a subnet or involve our engineering team during onboarding to just do a mass import of all of your ticks as long as they're reachable from either one of your other MikroTiks that we can use as a proxy point or, right directly from our servers. And I guess further, if you have the on-prem Admiral, then obviously then we should be able to talk to them and import them that way. So at this point, there's a couple of different mechanisms for importing MikroTiks to include one by one, like you're talking about, where you assign somebody to just do a whole bunch of work. Easy config that allows you to add it config to your template. And then per subnet, which if you have an on-prem, that's automatically unlocked. If you don't have an on-prem, then you would open a ticket with our support team. That's help@admiralplatform.com. Let us know what you're trying to get done. We'll certainly assist you with getting your MikroTiks imported in one step.
Oh, okay, great. And Tyler had suggested Beacon.
Beacon.
And I hope that kind of understands how it's kind of different than the initial onboarding, but I'm not sure if there's any additional clarification that we need there.
Yeah,
And
I could speak to that. So,
um,
initial onboarding is really trying to get one or several microtics into the dashboard that we kind of know about. And the purpose of Hydra, Beacon, we'll pick a name. The purpose of this guy that's new is going to be to say, hey, we got all these ones, but did you know these other guys over here were missed? And maybe that's intentional, and sure, no problem. But if it's unintentional, we want to make sure that you're aware that, oh, hey, some of these guys over here, they weren't covered by Admiral and they get hit by lightning. You thought there was a backup. You're looking for him in the dashboard. He's not there. We want to make sure that that's not an accident. That's on purpose.
great. Perfect. Well, thank you. Daniel had asked, is the training going to be remote or on premises? And Candace had answered in the chat, just to put it out there for everybody, that training will be remote with a combination of videos, hands-on labs, and real-world use cases with live Q&A. So I hope that answers that. Um, I got a private message that, what is the use case for Sentinel for improving network analysis?
Yeah, so having used Splunk for a very long time, what happens with syslog is that you get a whole bunch of data from and centralizing that data is at least the first step in saying I have awareness of all the things going on in the network. And then you kind of have to needle in a haystack, look through and sort through all that data to find meaningful interactions that are happening because a lot of stuff gets logged and many times too much for a human to really parse well. So what we're talking about here with Sentinel is putting programmatic access. And if we intend to have kind of either a checkbox or a slider that says, I also want to allow and permit AI analysis of these logs. And so in that way, we'll be sending those logs through an analysis engine, whether it's part of our writing or whether it's more, deep search intelligence to find what trends and information is being discovered there and what could be done better.
Okay,
So as a
great.
real world example, here's a real world example.
Mhm.
I had an outage last Thursday, right? And so, or I had an outage today, right? And I want to know what happened. So we can hit a button, right? And go, well, it looks like all of these devices reported, OSPF flapping. And so we can track that back. This link went down. It triggered, these chain of events. And maybe that looks like a misconfiguration. You could have avoided that by X, or maybe that looks like, oh, hey, that was a problem. And you should look at adding, an additional link for redundancy so that this particular kind of thing can't happen again.
Great. Daniel says, I love Sentinel. And Tyler was saying that he uses Splunk still today. He would love the AI analysis for syslogs, and he does that now, but he has to export the logs and dump them into ChatGPT for analysis. So there's that extra step there.
Yeah, so our goal is really to make this as easy as possible. Maybe there's, like we said, the weekly automated report that just goes, hey, we scanned your network and here's things that you could do to improve. As well as, like I talked about, the button that just says, hey, right now, what's going on? Is there anything that I need to be concerned about?
Okay. Anthony had asked, so Sentinel is a replacement of external SIEMs. If we have one already, would it intake other sources such as Aruba, etc.? Is this Microsoft SIEM? If I'm intaking a few million logs per day, is my cost analysis different from less?
Yeah, so this is still a in development feature. So we're not quite 100% sure where all the pieces are going to go. Right now, obviously, we have access to the MikroTik logs. We're building feature support for multiple vendors, and that may look like, and so it sounds like you might be the right person to talk to get into a pilot program where we kind of extend the functionality beyond MikroTik, beyond our own analysis of ingesting the data that we have access to today to have additional access to more pieces. So the answer to talking to other stuff that's not part of Admiral today is that is a little bit outside the scope of the discussion for October 2025, but probably is a good thing for us to talk about in January, February timeframe.
Okay, great. Another question. Why would I use additional ping latency in the dashboard?
Yeah, so the additional ping latency, some of our customers, in particular LTE operators, have really latency that's kind of all over the place, right? And you can imagine that LTE is out there, it's wireless, and it has more jitter than a typical wired connection like fiber connections, etc. So in the case where your jitter is relatively high and the Admiral service is not in your state, if you're on our cloud service, then you're probably hosted here in Atlanta, Georgia, or you're in Frankfurt, Germany, or you're in South Africa, Cape Town. And so if you're far enough away from that, the latency to us could be pretty disruptive and not very stable. And so, in order to get a better sense of whether there's a latency issue on your network or whether the latency issue is kind of out there in the internet, we added the ability to set some custom ping locations. So, what will happen is that during telemetry gathering, we'll ping those additional locations and then graph them so that you can get a good sense of like, hey, my latency inside my network looks like this. To my gateway looks like this, to my ISP looks like this, and then way out on the internet, you're a little less caring about whether that's good or not because you don't have control over that. But it allows you to really get a much better visibility into the latency of the things that you have control over.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Daniel says I would love to host Admiral in West Africa. So thank you, Daniel. We'll have to talk about that. And Tyler said we added latency endpoints to our head end as well as Cloudflare and Google. So yeah, and he said that that's more real world than just picking the Admiral DC.
Yeah, and so Tyler, is all the way across the nation from us. There's definitely a whole bunch of BGP ASNs between us. There's no control there over uh, over anything for us little guys who are just consumers of internet. So in that case, that can give you a lot more realistic detail on whether there's something you need to pay attention to or not and investigate.
That's helpful. That's helpful. Question is the speed test reporting included in the subscription pricing, and is that live right now?
Is Candace going to take that one?
Oh, is
I'm going to take a drink.
Oh.
Mark needs a break. Also,
Okay.
thank you, Tyler, for pointing out the changelog. Our changelog guy is out of office this week, so it was my job to update it in his absence. So I'll get on that today. So as far as pricing goes, it is an add-on module. So just reach out to sales@admiralplatform.com and we'll set up a demo of it and talk about what the pricing structure looks like.
Perfect. And then I don't know either Candace or Mark if you will take this one. Anthony is asking when referencing recommended optimizations and API functions, will a list of best practices or best practice checks and API functions be provided for transparency on what it's looking for on all fronts? Make sure that we have that.
I'll grab that one because I work with documenting the API, and we are definitely going to do a better job of documentation around our API and then extending the functions that we currently have. When we first launched the API, we kind of wanted to get a read on how many customers, operators would utilize it and what functionality they were looking for, and we've gotten a lot of feedback this year. So I have a long list of additional functions, additional data that we're going to be looking at utilizing.
How about webhooks?
Uh, on the roadmap.
All right, great. Well, I don't think I'm seeing any more questions. So I'm gonna say last call for questions. If you got one that's you can't get typing fast enough, you can always come off of your mute to ask it, or if you're typing, I don't think anybody's typing, but we'll give it one more moment. And other than that, I just want to say, well, did we ever get any final word on what you guys think about either Beacon, Spider, Hydra? Who?
I think Spider doesn't have the nautical ring to it, so I'm pretty sure that's a no-go. We've just been internally calling it that. Uh, Hydra's kind of cool. I like Kraken as well. Beacon fits the nautical theme. Definitely those three are probably front runners.
Great. Um, Spider is pretty utilized in the cyber world as well, so I'd avoid it, Anthony says. How do we think about Hydra versus Beacon? Beacon is pretty cool, maybe. But Mark, like, I think we like that idea of tentacles going out there or building some kind of web type of thing,
But
right?
but like Beacon kind of shows you, right? You
It
can
does.
see from the so even Lighthouse might fit. But anyway, plenty of ideas. Appreciate the
Duluth.
brainstorm here.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. And Tyler, thank you so much. Tyler said you guys are killing it. So stoked to see where you guys are going and glad to be on board. So thank you, Tyler. We appreciate that. Keith asked when this recording will be available. And probably before too long. I don't know if I want I'm not sure. I think we can get it out, I'm sure, sometime this week. So,
This week for
and
sure. Yeah, it has to render and stuff, and then
yeah.
we gotta lightly edit to just cut out some before and after. But yeah, our intent is to really to make sure everyone who signed up for the webinar has access to the recording. So there's plenty of folks that kind of signed up. We've got their email information, and we'll send out the recording once we wrap it all up.
Yep. And I just put the YouTube channel in the chat. So if you're not already a subscriber of our YouTube channel, we do put a lot of content out there to try to make sure that everybody can stay up to date on what we're doing and give tutorials and all that stuff. Anthony says Hydra is far more oceanic. Beacon pretty utilized in the world as well. Lighthouse pretty good. So
Hmm.
that's great. And and Wisp America is in Atlanta. Yes, the next Wisp America will be in Atlanta, and that's where Mark and Candace are based out of. So that'll be really great. Great chance to go by and visit with Mark and Candace. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, I want to say thank you guys so much for coming. We have some information there on the screen. So if you're not already familiar with Help at Admiral platform or obviously our website and our YouTube channel, then check us out. And we appreciate you guys being here and giving us all your feedback. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, everybody. If you'll be at Wisp America in Atlanta, be sure to reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thanks a bunch.